We are all playing the same content, but we are all experiencing it completely differently. The game is catered to us, but not in a good way. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is an a la carte mess. Here's why. SBMM and EOMM have taken the soul right out of this game. I'm losing roughly 220 to 240 frames per second when I'm around this level of latency. Nothing has really changed in my gaming environment, since Season 2 dropped. I have been experiencing more matches with this type of latency. Prior to this, I was more likely than not to get matches in the 30 to 40, ping range. The ratio or formula for 60 frames per second equals 16.7 milliseconds. In the clip I'm playing at the beginning of this video, I was in the higher end of the latency curve. Now, I am an average player at best, but with more and more of my matches starting to get in this range, with no change in hardware, software, etc., aside from the Season 2 update, it got me thinking about all the engagement tactics in SBMM. Without getting into super detail about it, I'll just give you a really quick overview of EOMM. EOMM stands for Engagement Optimized Matchmaking. It is a system patented by EA, Electronic Arts, to prioritize keeping players playing longer over other forms of matchmaking algorithms. There is also a UCLA, I can't even get that right, a UCLA study of EOMM, and they go into great detail about it for any who are interested. I'll try to remember to link it in the description. We should all know what SBM is by now, or at least have some working knowledge as to how it affects us as individual players. Essentially, the better you become at a game, the more the game messes with you. Aside from SBMM, matching you against tougher players, it alters your game inputs and many other things such as latency. I'm going to put up on screen here part of the Activision patent that addresses what I'm talking about. As you can see on the first chart, it states, acquire skill level data of each player, modify one or more parameters of the game session, present data to each player via game console. That's us, the majority of us. I know a lot of you are on PC. The game will look at you, how you perform and change your engagements mid-game with each interaction, okay? With each interaction and with each player in the lobby. The next table breaks down what happens to you when your skill level rises. Now pay close attention to the top two rows in the table. Degree of accuracy required to hit a target and likelihood of being targeted by the enemy. A low skill player has a lower hitbox threshold on a mid to higher skilled player. The higher the skill, the harder it is to hit an enemy player. Okay, now bear through me with this. This is the last table, I promise. The last table shows in rows 2 and 3 exactly that. If you are higher skill, you need to be more accurate to hit the opposing player. These are the in-game manipulations that we are up against, both good and bad players. Now bear with me for the next part as it's a little lengthy. It's important, but it's a little bit lengthy. The most pertinent part of this patent for this particular discussion is as follows. Now this is directly word for word in the patent. In embodiments, session modifications may include, but are not limited to, adjusting the number of enemies, adjusting the complexity of puzzles and player adjustments, which may include a player's health, damage, speed, available abilities, and difficulty level. In one embodiment, a player's health is scaled based on the player's skill level by data corresponding to an acquired skill level of each player, which is generated and presented to a player via a game console, resulting in each player within a team experiencing a different degree of difficulty or challenge while still experiencing the same content in the same gameplay session. Just like in the clip earlier, what I saw was far different to what my enemy saw. We have generally chalked plays like this, up to skill gap, lag, poor aim, hit registration, internet connection, the Kardashians, all that mess. What if it's all true, but not by our own doing? If we are all experiencing different game adjustments by these patented systems altering our engagements, With all of these, minute adjustments on such a measured basis, then no wonder older games were better. Where is the threshold of going from low to mid to high skill? When does that kick in, and what does it look like? With each, new game, they tweak and adjust the amount of SBMM and EOMM. They've been gathering data for years and years. Adjustments and fine-tuning continue constantly. Now, our tolerance for playing this game is being adjusted, and you see the proof right before your eyes. If you have a stretch of good games where you're just going ham on everyone and crapping all over the lobbies and talking all that smack, don't you notice all of a sudden the next few games, you're the one getting crapped on? Can't hit shots consistently, your gun's jumping a bit more, enemies are just turning on you and dropping you when you have the jump on them, or even the notorious shoot first and die. Hit markers where you weren't getting them before, with the same loadout you've been using. Is it you, or is it something else? Entirely. It would all seem to be, conspiracy theory, and many of you will poo-poo it as such. Heck, I might have done that in the past too. Get good, dude. Right, get good. Except for the fact that this patent exists. It's explained in painstaking detail the lengths that these corporations go, to in order to keep you in the game for the sake of spending money on in-game purchases. They try to wear you down, and the longer you are engaged, the more pliable and receptive you may become to the constant bombardment of bundles. I mean, shoot. It's the first thing that loads up when you boot up the game. You have to hit the button to skip it in order just to get to the playlist of your choice. So no, it's not conspiracy, it's reality. There are just too many of us that don't care, to know about how these things work. Nobody wants to know how the sausage is made. That's exactly what they want. So, you can keep playing the game and you can keep crapping and complaining about, this guy or this girl or that girl or person or whatever, hitting you and getting the jump on you, and, you swear they're lagging or they're cheating or something like that. But that might not even be the case. So go on, keep eating that tasty sausage. It's your time, and I thank you for sharing it with me. Have a great day.